In order to understand the themes of Blade Runner, we have to see how they are illustrated in each of the main characters that we are with throughout the duration of the movie. Today I'm going to be looking at the first scene and introduction of the protagonist Deckard, the detective Blade Runner we follow throughout the story. According to John Truby's book, The Anatomy of Story, what makes an engaging story is our ability to connect with the characters empathically, and that we experience the theme through the lens of the character that we are with. This character should exemplify the problems and the needs of the people in this world. The characters, in other words, are not arbitrarily created for entertainment purposes, but are instead used as symbolic representations of life's problems and how such a person operates in this world with themselves and with others. From the beginning scene in the theatrical release, we are told explicitly what Deckard represents. He sits alone, isolated in a crowded street, flipping through the newspaper looking for a job, and remarks that he can't find work as a killer as they don't hire killers in the paper. Deckard has a problem, one that is implied in the story world as a common problem for him and others, and that is of looking for work. The people of the city we see live on top of one another, almost like rats in a sewer, all trying to make a living off of one another in an artificial concrete maze. There is nothing transcendent in the mental or physical landscape of the people that live here. The only gods here are the giant corporations that loom over the city. I say gods quite literally, as in the previous video we see that there is a direct influence of the Mayan temples on the design of the Tyrell buildings. But instead of architecture that represents the sacred and the divine, these Tyrell pyramids loom over us like some sort of alien life that cares nothing about human life. We don't feel enlivened by these structures. Instead, we feel isolated and small and insignificant next to them. Also, like I mentioned in the first video, Philip K. Dick, the writer of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, he had had a series of mystical experiences, and these had a deep and profound influence on his writings. He didn't see himself so much as creating these stories, but instead revealing them from visions that he had. So Deckard's plight then is biblical in its scope. They've made commercial business their god, and because of that, they live by the whims of corporations and oligarchs. It's interesting to note here that Deckard's only real place in society belongs as a Blade Runner, a hired killer, and this has caused him to block out his empathy in order to do his job, which is that of hurting others. Deckard is very similar to being an android in this respect, and the writers play with this idea visually throughout the movie, but I'll get to that later. For now, it's worth noting that Deckard is hollow and artificial, because what he follows and what he is surrounded by is hollow and artificial. Deckard is the result of a society that worships steel. There is no light in this world, just one giant gear grinding people down into weaker versions of themselves. Alright guys, this concludes part 4 of the Blade Runner analysis. Please like, subscribe, and share the video, and make sure to get your free Philip K. Dick comic book in the link in the descriptions below. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.